So today is the sacred Gita Jayanti day, and as we have been doing so far, we'll continue with our Mananam. And on this day, as we all are aware, is where the Gita Upadesha was given. And even as of today, this Upadesha, meaning this knowledge, this sacred scripture, the sacred teachings, is pouring out through many forms to each of us. So the Gita Jayanti, as many of us know, is the sacred day to honor this flow of knowledge from that Guru to Shishya, all that Sampradaya, that Rishis, all of them. So the teachings of Gita, as we said in our prayer, Sarvopanishado Gavo Dogdham Gopal Anandana, that the essence of all the Upanishad teachings was given to us, was milked in its essence and in its applicability in our lives by Lord Krishna. So in this sense, Lord Krishna is that supreme Guru, that highest Guru, and our own inner Guru. And this Guru, through forms, through acharyas, through different mediums, through different channels, is pouring out this divine wisdom, right? And we are all like Arjunas. Each of us are like Arjunas. We are going through our own battles in our life. The only thing that makes us qualified to receive this knowledge is that we want to progress. We want to not be led by our selfish kind of goals, or our self-centered desires, our materialistic pursuits. And we are seeking true happiness, true peace. And for this, we are being completely receptive. So as we saw, that until Arjuna told Krishna, Shishyasteham Shadimam Tvam Prapannam, that I am your disciple and I'm deluded about what is right and what is wrong. So until we do that, the teacher is not going to give us that knowledge. So if we are not willing, we are not, if we are in a, so it's not like we are not willing, it's just that sometimes our state of mind deludes us. We feel that, we can figure this out. And so we are not open to receiving that wisdom. So when we are closed, then what happens? It's like we are this upside down pot. In our daily life, we are upside, the water cannot pour into it. Or the other illustration is, in that pot, there's already a lot of mud. There's a lot of pollutants. So no matter how much water is poured into that water will remain polluted. So that is what, we have to be like this open, and that our minds and hearts should be open to receiving this wisdom. Okay, so we have been doing the Mananam. So far as we looked at it, that Gita, Bhagavad Gita topics we have been looking at, we have started with the mantras in the second Adhyaya. We are looking at some of the teachings that was given in the second Adhyaya. So we will continue. So yesterday we looked at that part, that inspiration part where we left off, and we said that that good or bad times in life, or anything situation in life, they are there for only a small, or they are there for a certain period of time. They're not. So learning to accept that and knowing that this too shall pass. All our situations in life, they're all meant to be temporary. That only thing that is changeless is that essence of our being. That one who experiences, who sees that changes of thoughts, feelings, emotions, the changes in the sense perceptions, the changes in the sensations of the body, the changes in the body itself, and the changes in all the matter that objects we perceive, including the other people and things. So that subjective sense of being, which is the same as everyone, That only is that eternal reality. Everything else is going to pass. Everything else is going to change. If we are not having good health, that too will change at some point. And if we are not having good state of mind, that too will change. And if we are not having good life circumstances, that too is going to change. So that is the essential thing that Bhagwan conveys to us. Okay, so now let us go to the next shloka. The next shloka, which we'll do mananam on. Avyaktadhini bhutani vyaktamadhyani bharata avyakta nidhananyeva tatra ka paridevana. So this shloka, Bhagavan says that all beings are rise from that unmanifest state. Avyakta is that supreme unmanifest state of Prakriti, that Mula Prakriti. It is in that Avyakta state, unmanifested. And it manifests as that Mahat Tattva, as that Tanmatras, Panchendriyas, and Mana, and all that. And it goes back where? It doesn't just kind of die, as we say. It goes back to that unmanifested state upon death. So that all that matters of which compose the body, that 5 elements that make up this gross body of earth, water, air, fire, and space, all of them, what happens? They go back to their original state. And then when there is the whole, in the Hindu cosmology, the world goes through pralaya. That time it goes back all to the unmanifested state. But this is the process. We say it is gone, dead, gone forever. So no, there is nothing to grieve, because this is just how the manifestation is. It comes into manifestation and it goes back into unmanifestation. Nothing is lost. So this is how we can do a little bit of manana on this, that when we look at life, we feel like everything is coming from past, it is holding on. So we just remain in this learning to experience life with a fresh perspective. Every day should be a new day. This is how, the best view of life is not like, that I went through this, I'm going through these situations. So every day is a new experience if we look at life freshly, that allowing us to be fresh of ourselves and of others. So we have to learn to not be biased and critical as much as possible. So we have to just see whom or what situation in our life do I become biased based on the past or based on my experiences. Okay, then a little bit of inspiration. That this is like they say, a child looks at everything. A new child, like before the age of 4, 5, 6, and those age, for them everything is wonderment, curiosity. There's a sense of freshness, joy to everything, But then as the child grows up, it develops a bias. It has certain favorite things, it wants to do only certain things. And then life becomes dull, monotonous, because the outward aspect of life is what we focus on as adults. We don't see that inner nature of beingness, that inner nature of consciousness. And that inner nature is always fresh, learning to look at life freshly. So we should try to ask ourselves, like every day, am I able to experience life with a fresh perspective? When we say fresh, what does it mean? It is not like I'm going to have new experiences. I'm not looking for another new excitement to come into my life. It is just that sense of seeing from that eye of beingness, that consciousness. We are not seeing matter, meaning we're not focusing on seeing that matter so much. We're trying to look at that Chaitanya Tattva and that energy, that consciousness in everyone and in everything. So then what happens? Every moment of our life is based on experiencing that inner being of consciousness. So the mind is what gives us that commentary, right? But that knowingness of that mind is fresh. Like if I were to experience something which like if I were to, see the sky every day. That sky is every moment I experience. It seems like, okay, I've seen this. That is a mind telling me, oh, I see that sky today. It is dark, cloudy, or today it is bright. So that is a mental commentary, and that mental commentary will bore us very soon. But that essence from which we are seeing and experiencing, that is new every moment. New meaning that it is not tainted. It is not based on the past. So that kind of seeing, that is a kind of meditation actually. Everything, every moment, everything we're experiencing, we don't go outward into that object of what we are seeing. We remain with that essence, that seeingness, that beingness. Okay. So the next mantra, Atha Chetvamimam Dharmyam Sangramam na karishyasi Tata Swadharmam Kirtim cha Hitva Papamavapsyasi. So he says, if you do not perform your duties in this righteous war, by abandoning your duty, you will ruin your reputation and you will incur sin, papa. So this is upadesha. Like if you will ruin your reputation, meaning whatever you are cultivated. So we all have a role in our life, and this role of our life, our dharma, our activities, whether we are a husband, wife, or we are an employee, or we are a teacher, student, all that, we have duties. Some are clearly outlined duties in the different scriptures. Some are, we know from our roles that we do have these duties to perform. But that duty, this is the right duty, is what generally, which we call as dharma. But dharma is more than just duty. But in this context, we can take that it is that right actions in my life, right duty. And this is generally in the Shastras. How do we define it? It is defined on ashramas, life responsibilities. So we have to ask ourselves, what is my dharma in this situation? Based on my role, my ashrama, my responsibilities. What is my dharma? So there are so many ways we can define what is my dharma, right? When I ask myself, the most common answer will be, okay, I am a father, child, or whatever things. But that is not just the dharma. The highest dharma is that we have to learn to find that inner freedom, that inner happiness, and that freedom from samsara. That is really our highest dharma. And when we can pursue that alone, every other dharma becomes subservient to it. So this is where, Bhagavan says to Arjuna in the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Sarva dharmam parichedya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyo moksha yishyami ma shuchaha. If you are seeking me wholeheartedly, if you are seeking me completely, then you can relinquish all your duties, meaning worldly duties. But if we are not ready for that, if you're not completely at that stage where we can relinquish all the dharma, then at that point we have to fulfill other duties, like the worldly duties we cannot relinquish. And that is what Arjuna was being told here by Krishna, that right now you have certain duties to fulfill because you're not ready for that highest relinquishment, meaning you're not ready to be a sannyasi, you're not ready to let go of all activities, so you have to fulfill that duties. So this is what we have to kind of look at. How do I embrace my dharma? And also, like the times, every generation is different. So that which was a kshatriya duty for Arjuna during his times is not the same duty for us now. So that what was Kshatriya Dharma at that point, So just because we are born in a certain class nowadays is not that we have to be in a war or armies and everything. So that modern times definition is different. So we cannot go by the caste as it was in that time. So that is also an introspection for each of us. And that comes through proper understanding and wisdom. When we have proper wisdom, we begin to understand that. And more importantly, on a daily basis, certain society dharma also we have to maintain self-respect, dignity. How do we behave in a society? Each one of us has a certain behavior. Like if you are for example, if you are a sannyasi, there is a certain way you have to behave in a society. Even though, like you say, I have completely renounced everything, there is some things you have to maintain, right? Similarly, if you are a manager in an organization, you have to be a certain role model, right? So those things are also part of our duties. Most importantly is that only when we are able to go to a higher level of duties are we justified in relinquishing the lower duties. Meaning that when we are seeking that moksha purushartha, then other caste and our household duties we can abandon. We are justified. But if we are not completely doing that, then what happens? On the name of that, we cannot relinquish that other duties. So, of course, this is a very personal thing, and what we have to really look at it on each person. There is really no generic answer to this. But we have to really ask ourselves, am I abandoning my duties out of fear or out of lack of taking responsibility? Sometimes, when we come into spiritual path also, this tendency might come. We might not be willing to take responsibilities. Sometimes in ashrams, when people come, they say, I've relinquished, I don't want to do any duties. If you are there also in ashrams, there will be certain duties will be given. So that is how, we should not, most importantly, use a tamasic nature to justify that I'm not doing my duties. That wisdom should guide us. So anyway, we'll look further into this. What is the different models? How do we look at it? To seek that supreme truth through renunciation, through tyaga, sannyasa, is acceptable as long as one is wholeheartedly committed to that. That total surrender is there to that God, the gurus, and the ashramas, then it's fine. But to fall short in serving one's family is acceptable if one is occupied with serving the nation or a larger community. So like if those, who give up serving the family, like how Arjuna was in that predicament, right? He said, I will take sannyasa, I will not. So that is not the thing. The first is what is called, you have to choose if you are ready for the nivritti marga, that is the highest path. There, every duty you can give up if you are ready for nivritti marga. And if that is not possible, then you have to choose the pravritti marga. The pravritti marga is helping the society, helping the community, helping the larger world. Vasudeva Kutumbakam, that larger family. So those people, if you're serving, then you can give up the family. Like the example of our current Prime Minister, right? Like serving the family, he's left his family to serve the larger things. Of course, there are, we cannot say what is right, what is wrong exactly, but those are different models people take. But the most important thing is to abandon one's duties and responsibilities to family, society, and one's own soul due to laziness, tamas, or indulgence in one's passions. We're seeking kama purushartha. That is sooner or later going to cause us negativity and fear. So this is what, sometimes people who seek to become just to become teachers or famous things. And but really there is a hidden kind of a goal. We are not sincere about it. And that will sooner or later cause inner anxieties, inner fears, and all that. Okay, so this is an introspection. This is a very good shloka to do introspection on ourselves. Okay, so then a very famous and oft-quoted shloka of Bhagavad Gita, coming back to the topic of equanimity, even-mindedness. Sukha dukkha same krutva labha labhau jaya jayau tato yuddhaya yujyasva naivam papam avapsyasi. Success, failure, loss, gain, happiness, sorrow, all of them we have to take equally. And you should not give up your duty as a warrior. Only then that you will not incur sin. Otherwise, then you are dharma brashta, as they say. If you are taking with that attitude, I will only do that which is good. I will only do that which is bad. Like for example, right? Like a parent has 3-4 children. Like in the case of Dhritarashtra, and he had 100 children, right? So of them, that one, he was favorite was Duryodhana. So similarly, if a parent is biased towards one child, then that is that again bias is there. But similarly in our life, whether there is success or failure in what we do, there is loss or gain, there is happiness or sorrow, that equanimity, that state of even-mindedness is with doing our duties, is our real dharma. Then there is no sin to that. Okay, just some manana for this. So what is my attitude towards the challenges I face in life? Am I equanimous towards it? Meaning am I result focused? See, we tend to be so result focused, right? In this world, we are not duty focused. Like if I'm doing something, then it has to be successful, then only I will do it. So of course, success should be the goal, that vision. There's nothing wrong with that. But having that expectation that if I get success, then only I will continue. If I'm able to get profit, then only I will continue. That is not the right attitude towards one's duties. Karma palaicha, letting go of the desire for results. So despite putting that best efforts, I'm mentally averse to unpleasant outcomes and attached to favorable ones. So this kind of intention is the whole basis on all activities in a material world. Businesses and all that function on that. So that is why, sometimes there are organizations which are developed on non-profit basis. So idea is that, right? Like the goal or activities we do should be the focus, not the profit. So that is our personal attitude in our life. So we should see in our life, what are the actions in our life that I do only if somebody praises me, somebody says it is good, somebody, if I'm successful, profitable. Yeah. And then what happens, this other question we can ask, do I value learning to act in life without the motivation of seeking profits and avoiding losses, without wanting victory and rejecting defeat? So this is the main thing of the seva bhava in our, in our culture, which we say, learning to cultivate the seva bhava, doing activities. So we train ourselves, like we take up organizations, gurus and all that, where we learn to function or do things without expecting any result. So this is a certain kind of a personal training for every sadhaka. It is important. The highest seva, of course, is doing to your guru, your ashramas and all that. But if we can't do that, then the other level of seva is Narayana seva, Jana seva, doing to the community, to the people. That is also a means where we are changing our. See, this is an inner pattern, that samskara. It drives us to wanting to do things only if I get profits. Okay, some inspiration to seek to be victorious and to be happy is a natural inclination in all. So is that instinct to avoid unpleasant and to never fail. Yet for one who is truly free, all our actions are like drawing a line in water. This is a very wonderful metaphor to live how we should live life. Our life should be like we are drawing a line on water, meaning that we are not attached nor we are averse. Then what happens? There is no samskaras and there is no karma that can bind us. A truly mukta person, a jivan mukta, a jnani, is considered to live life like that. They take care of their body if they have to. They take care of their, whatever teaching, other things they do, or they engage in whatever service they do. But none of them leaves with them that samskara, that mental impression. They are mentally taintless, and there is no karmic bondage. That is the real art of life. How a spiritually inclined person should live life. We are not doing out of the deep attachment nor the deep aversion. There is no mental kind of a reaction to that. There is also that when sannyasis are trained, to get bhiksha, that is the attitude. Whatever food you get, you take it. Of course, based on diet and other things, health-wise, there is some restrictions. But whatever food, good or bad, you have to learn to accept that. And life is like that. Life is like taking bhiksha. Whatever has come as a karma phala from a previous life, we learn to accept with that equanimity without our attachment or repulsion. Okay, just one more quick shloka. This is where we will end at, because this is one of the central messages of Bhagavad Gita. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyau samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. So this is a very oft quoted, very popularly quoted line. Siddhya siddhyau samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. The essential message of Bhagavad Gita. The established in yoga, meaning established in your spiritual life, established in your sadhana. Perform your duties and action. Don't give up your duties. This is the yogi's highest form of surrendering everything to Bhagavan. By fulfilling all of one's duties, win that attitude of complete surrender and being established, and most importantly, remaining stable in success and failure. Such even-mindedness is called yoga. Samatvam yoga uchyate. The definition of yoga in Bhagavad Gita. Everyone has different definitions of yoga. So the definition of yoga, according to Bhagavan in Bhagavad Gita, is, he says, what do we call as yoga is even-mindedness, equanimity. Equanimity is called as yoga. So we'll just briefly look at it. We will go through it in detail tomorrow again. So that can I do what is right without seeking results and maintaining a state of equanimity, especially towards undesirable outcomes. So sometimes when the desirable outcome is not there, then what happens? We are not willing to do it, even though if it is necessary, if it is right in that circumstances, because we don't get a personal kind of, see, this is where, that addictive habit of us we are driven by things that has a kind of an addictive sense of pleasure for us. If that is not there, then we are not willing to do things. So that is where, we have to introspect and see. And then like most in the society, are we constantly engaged in all interactions with others based on expectations? How can we train ourselves to give without taking? This is a habit, we should say. Like many times, people these days and all that. Sometimes even, when people come for some of our classes and all that, they are so trained to thinking that, okay, this they're going to charge this, so that they don't kind of, they find it a little hard to kind of think maybe there's some ulterior motive. Why is this person wanting to give? Similarly, we are also like that, right? When we teach, when we go somewhere, we think like, okay, somebody is in there. There is a transactional world, right? We are so trained. At least for ourselves, we should start with small things. So this exercise is a good one, like which I've mentioned here. Take little things in your life, like things where you're comfortable. Don't right away give out all your bank balance and all that. Start with some small things where you feel comfortable and train ourselves. Like, can I just give away things without any expectations? Truly, sincerely in your heart, try to see that. Can I just do this without wanting anything from this person or anything from this action? Not even like saying, okay, they should send me a thank you letter or something. Okay, we will leave at this, Mananam. And this is a good thing. This message of Bhagavad Gita we can keep in our mind today. And throughout the day, there is a wisdom thing and there is a heart-based thing. Both we can keep today, especially because today is Gita Jayanti. In our heart, we can surrender to that supreme Guru, that one Guru of all beings, that in the form of Bhagavan, in the form of Lord Krishna, in our hearts all through the day, and be opening up our hearts, our conscience, our mind, to see that every moment am I in tune with that Guru, that inner Guru, that one supreme Guru in my heart, in my intellect, and asking him to guide our life, bless our life, that may the will of that divine being free me from all the bondages, all the problems, everything, the problems of samsara, that bondage that we have, that is due to this one lacking of attuning to that highest wisdom. Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.